Hello, Linda Lowry here with Seattle-based Business Magazine and Social in Seattle. And we're here today with
Bettina Carey, Seattle-based business.
And we also have two guests here who basically run the Space Needle here.
Well, I don't know if we run it, but we run parts of it.
Well, tell us your name and your title and what you do here at the Space Needle.
Sure, go ahead.
My name's Amy Cunningham, and I'm the PR director for Space Needle.
And I'm Gavin Stephenson. I'm the vice president of food and beverage for both the Space Needle and Chihuly Garden and Glass.
Fabulous. And we're here because of the Jamesbury Foundation Taste America. And thank you again for letting us come up here and do some interviews here. Of course, the Space Needle represents Seattle. With people think of Seattle, they automatically think of the Space Needle. So tell us how, how you support the Jamesbury Foundation Taste America.
The Space Needle has been a welcoming guest since 1962. We were built for the world's there. And back then, we had a rotating restaurant. And so food and supporting food and chefs has always been a part of our DNA. And so today, we actually welcome the Jamesbury Foundation while they're here in Seattle to do really just kind of experience the city. There's no quail like the Space Needle. We can see more than 3 national parks in the top. And we were able to kind of show off the city a little bit here today.
Yeah.
So when we first arrived, you told us a little bit about a model of the Space Needle and that it has a feminine feature to it. So could you share a little bit more about why we refer to the Space Needle as she?
Sure, absolutely. So the Space Needle back in the day was kind of like inspired by Stuttgart Tower. But the group that was building a Space Needle had around 400 days or less to build it. And so, they took it from a drawing on a napkin, which was like a little circle with some legs below it. And they actually used a sculpture called Feminine One, which was sculpted in 1951. It's about this high and this wide. It's a wooden sculpture. But we do have a replica of it. It had it on that north side of the Space Needle across from the monorail. And so it really inspired how we were going to build the Space Needle. And so if you look at the Space Needle today, every kind of 100 feet up, something kind of changes. And at the very top, it's almost as though a dancer is arcing her back and holding at the top house. And so that's why we say she is looking mighty fine today, because she is based off of Feminine One.
And we went how many feet up in the air?
For today, we went 520 feet up in the air. At the very top of the Space Needle, it's about 605 feet at the top of the spire.
And we're looking through glass, right, on all sides it seemed, and that's a new feature that you've added, right?
Right. Well, back in 2018, we opened up after an extensive remodel chromosensory project where we actually peeled away concrete from the top of the building and we replaced it with glass. And so it's some of the strongest glass in the world. Each pane out here is about 2,000 pounds each. And so it was actually airlifted and set into place.
And what's really crazy about it is we didn't close during the whole thing. So we had so many visitors that were coming to Seattle. It was a big conversation about, like, what are we going to tell everyone? And so it was amazing that the team was able to stay open during the renovation.
That is amazing. How long did that renovation take?
18 months? Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, we did experience the glass, and we leaned up against it, and it was very fun and thrilling at the same time.
Yeah. The rotating glass floor where we had the loop lounge. It's when people come out of the elevator or down the grand staircase, it's just awe-inspiring, right? And everybody has a million questions. So one of the things that we do is the senior leadership team on the weekends, we spend a certain amount of time, with our colleagues and with the guests, kind of explaining like the 12 quarter horsepower motors that turns the whole thing and answers all the questions like what's that great big home on the hill, which is Queen Anne High School. So it's just like it's amazing how people have gravitated towards it. A lot of local people this time of year, and then obviously the tourists through the summer season.
Yeah, let's talk about the Loop Lounge. What's happening? What's going to be there? Food and drink.
Yeah, we're super excited. We opened on September 5th, I believe, for a PM service and all new drink menu. We're featuring things like, our Beehive Blast Off, which is an actual experience to where you're taking a drink of the cocktail, smelling a flower, drinking the cocktail, smelling espresso, and then we end with a Szechuan flower. So you take a little bite of the Szechuan flower, and so each time the flavor of the cocktail changes. So that's been a super fun thing. And we're still doing our liquid nitrogen stuff and, staying extremely local with our product. But next month on the 15th, we're going to launch a brunch program. And something different than what we've done before is, we're allowing to have families in the lounge, whereas normally it would be an over 21 event. So we'll probably have 1 or 2 seatings on the weekends and maybe a little bit more during the week, during the holidays. But, built for families. So we're bringing back a lot of those traditions. It's crazy how many people we have come into the lounge and say, I was here and my father was here, my grandfather, it's just awesome to see that kind of return business. It's a special thing.
My business was actually founded here back in 1993 on May 1st. I was actually in the restaurant that was rotating at the time and signed my first contract as a sole proprietor.
Wow.
And that was the beginning of my entrepreneurial career. So I always have a special place in my heart here for Space Needle.
Yeah, I have the same feeling. I was fortunate enough to come on right at the end of the Century Project, and it was amazing to me how many tenured employees we had. And I was just like, how many years have you been here? And they're in love with it. They know each iteration, and they can tell you more than you need to know. And it's just really inspiring to see those people still here, still get excited every day. We rolled out the brunch program, and they were like, it was one of those things that they've been answering the question for quite some time. So
I'm sitting over here going, sign me up.
yeah,
I know. I'm looking forward to that for sure.
yeah.
And you mentioned that, you're the food and beverage president for the Space Needle and Truly Glass,
Right.
the Truly Glass Museum.
Right.
So tell us what's going on over there.
Good question. So, it's been COVID was really hard on us, and we did a lot of crazy things up here and over at Chihuly, that was our opportunity for alfresco dining right outside and whatnot. And that was I call it the little pizza oven that could. So we bought a pizza oven, and it was just this crazy thing. We're like, wow, we're onto something here. So during the summer, we're doing a pizza, concept. And then we opened the bar at Chihuly shortly thereafter COVID. And that has been, just awesome because when people come out of the last exhibit, they're just like, okay, like their senses are on overload. And so we said, let's put a bar in. And so we got everybody into that bar program, shareable, local bites, all local ingredients, and really just kind of showcasing to the city what's really good, but also to those people that are visiting Seattle that are looking for that authentically relevant kind of food and beverage.
One of the interesting things about the bar at Chinley Garden and Glass is a lot of our locals don't realize you can stop in without having a ticket to the exhibition.
Oh, really?
So if you're in and around Seattle Center, it's a great place to just come in and sit down and also feel like you're kind of immersed in the Seattle history of Chihuly's collections.
Yeah, and what's so cool is people, it's one of our best kept secrets. Those are all Dale Chihuly's collections. He collects all kinds of stuff. And so our riff on that was we named probably 80% of our cocktails on his collection. So there's the inkwell and the fishing lure. And so it gives our service team the opportunity to really kind of talk about Dale and kind of what he's done for us and kind of where we're going.
Well, he is world renowned, just like the Space Needle. And we're very lucky to have two, major cultural icons to be based here in Seattle.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Well, it's been really a pleasure to be here. Thank you for hosting us. It has been just such a joy to have the chefs and be able to be lying down on a piece of glass, looking up and not falling down.
Everyone was very brave.
Yeah.
That was so fun.
Started the day off just right.
And I love that we have, even in this beautiful weather, we still have sailboats out on Lake Union.
Yes.
So beautiful. Great view. Thank you for sharing this with all of us.
Awesome. Thanks for having us.